Hello, Alan Burke is my name from Burke's Property, and we are about to see one of the greatest changes in relation to real estate transactions for many, many years. So the next 5 minutes is absolutely critical if you own a home over $750,000. In the latest budget, Scott Morrison announced that the foreign residents were required to obtain a clearance certificate before they sold their home. In the fine print, we have just learned that all Australian residents are the ones that require to get a certificate before they sell their home if it's worth more than $750,000. Where do you get the certificate from? You get it from the ATO. And the ATO, for the first time ever, is now the big brother overlooking the real estate transactions in Australia. And if you haven't done a tax return, you're in all sorts of problems. Let me explain what goes on. We call it the ATO is watching. The rules are these, that all residents with a property more than $750,000 before they settle must obtain from the ATO a clearance certificate. Now, where we all missed this at the budget, it was called the non-residence withholding tax. So we all assumed it meant that the local residents weren't involved in this. Wrong. All residents, all Australian residents, whether they be non-residents or Australian citizens, must get this certificate. What if you don't get the certificate? 12.5% of the sale price goes straight to the ATO upon settlement. Get that again. 12.5% of the sale price goes straight to the ATO, and it takes you virtually a year in your tax return to claim that money back. Okay, so who has to get it? Every single person on a title, both husband and wife. The property doesn't get the certificate, the people get the clearance certificate. So if one's done a tax return and the other one hasn't, it will hold up process. How do you do it? We'll give you the website at the end of this broadcast, the ATO website. It is still called the Foreign Residents Withholding Tax, even though it involves residents. It's poorly named. It's free. You get on the website about 5 to 7 days. If you've got a clean bill of health, you will have a certificate. You can go ahead and sell your home. You hand it over at settlement, and the money is all yours. Nothing gets withheld. The settlement agents are all across this. They've just learnt it at the same time we have. And it comes in, get this, on the 1st of July. So in 2 weeks' time, this video is being done mid-June, in 2 weeks' time, we've got to get it all ready. Of course, the ATO hasn't got the website ready. You cannot be proactive and clean and jump on the website and get a clearance certificate early. No. You can only do it as of the 1st of July. So we know what happened with the census. The website crashed. Everyone in Australia who has a home over $750,000, and bear in mind Sydney and Melbourne, the median price is over $1 million, every single transaction is going to require one of these clearance certificates, and the 1st of July, every man, woman and child is going to hit that website, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if it crashes. Okay, so the process. Let's look at some of the bad news. If you haven't put your tax return in for a number of years, the ATO is just going to say no. We're not going to let you sell your house until you do your tax return. So the first time ever, Big Brother is saying, now we've got some sort of leverage over you, you can't sell unless you get a clearance certificate. All names, as we said before, have to get a clearance certificate. For deceased estates, you've got to get a tax file number for the deceased estate so the executor can claim to make sure that, or lodge the application on behalf of the estate. So the executor doesn't load his own information in, he has to get a tax file number for the estate and then on behalf of the estate get a clearance certificate back from that. You won't be able to claim your 12.5% back until the next tax return. So let's look at some case studies here. The first one, if you're buying a property and you need to coordinate the settlement. Now, you might have contracted to buy the next one, your sale hasn't happened until the 1st of July or so. It's triggered the successful settlement clause, and you say, great, I'm buying the new home. Then the ATO say, you have a problem, you haven't done your tax return, we're not going to give you a clearance certificate, you're not going to be able to sell your house. So what happens there? You're now in default under the contract. You've got to buy the next one. You haven't sold your own because the tax department haven't given you a clearance certificate, and you're in all sorts of strife. You've now triggered penalty interest at 9% per day until you've got your tax return in and until the ATO give you a clearance certificate. They say it'll take 5 to 7 days, all being well, but if you have a claim, you've got to go back and appeal this. They're saying a month. Okay? You work out $1 million at 9% for a month, that's expensive. All right? Cost you tens of thousands of dollars. We will see a lot of strife with private sellers. Private sellers know nothing about this. They will go to settlement, the purchaser will take 12.5%, or the settlement agent will take 12.5% of their proceeds, pay it straight to the ATO, and the private sellers go, well, no one told me. Sorry, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Another one, if you're selling an auction and you say, we think it'll go 700, 720, and it does really well, it hits 750 or 751, all of a sudden, a clearance certificate is involved. If the person hasn't done a tax return, they can't sell the home, or they'll get into penalty interest territory, as we mentioned before, all sorts of problems. So it's vital that you get proactive as of the 1st of July. If you're on the market, or you're thinking of going on the market, after the 1st of July, you've got to get onto this website, load your details in, you'll get the clearance certificate, and it's clear sailing, because there's all sorts of dramas if you get caught. This is the website, folks. It's the ATO website, ato.gov.au, foreign residents withholding tax. Work that out. It's for all residents, and that's a certificate. So pause the details, take the note of the website, and I'm glad you didn't get caught. So on behalf of Alan Burke and Burks, we wish you happy selling. Thank you.